You ever feel like you're just caught up in the chaos of modern life? Wondering if there's a better way to find some real peace and purpose? Well, Jay Shetty asked himself those same questions. And his answer? He walked away from a promising corporate career to become a monk. So today, we're going to dive deep into his book, Think Like a Monk, and see how we can take that ancient wisdom and actually use it in our own lives. So picture this. Jay Shetty is just 18 years old. He gets dragged, kinda reluctantly, to hear a monk give a talk. He's expecting, a total snooze fest. But what he hears that night, it completely changes his life. The monk talks about this idea of selfless sacrifice, this beautiful image of planting a tree knowing you'll never sit in its shade. And for Shetty, it was like a lightning bolt. Something just clicked, and that was it, the start of a whole new journey.
And this is what makes his story so fascinating. He calls it a rags to riches in reverse story. Think about it. He saw this guy who'd gone to one of the top universities in India, basically the MIT of India, and just gave it all up to become a monk. He walked away from literally everything Shetty and his friends were busting their butts for. And it made him think, wait a second, is this guy nuts? Or has he figured out something the rest of us are completely missing?
And that really gets to the core idea of the whole book, right? I mean, if you want to be an amazing basketball player, who do you study? Michael Jordan. If you want to be a tech genius, you look at someone like Elon Musk. So, what if you want to be happy? What if you want to train your mind to be calm, to be peaceful, to have a real sense of purpose? Well, who are the pros at that? Monks. They are the absolute masters of the inner world. So, it just makes sense, doesn't it? Why wouldn't we learn from them?
All right, so the first big step in thinking like a monk is all about letting go. It's kind of like before you can build a new house, you've got to clear the land first, right? You have to get rid of all the junk. This is about stripping away all those outside influences, the internal baggage, the fears that are weighing you down. You can really think of it as a much-needed cleanse for your mind.
And that journey of clearing things out starts with a really big fundamental question. It sounds simple, but it's deep. Who are you? I mean, who are you really? Because for most of us, our true self is buried under all these layers of what other people expect from us, what they think of us. So the very first step is to start digging to find that authentic you underneath it all. This quote from Charles Horton Cooley just nails the problem perfectly. It's a bit of a mind bender, but stick with me. We're not who we think we are, and we're not who other people think we are. We are what we think other people think we are. Wild, right? Basically, our identity is this secondhand funhouse mirror reflection. We're chasing things not for ourselves, but because we hope it'll look good in someone else's eyes. It's a total trap. Shetty's teacher at the ashram had this amazing metaphor to explain it. He said, your true identity is like a mirror. But for most of us, that mirror is covered in a thick layer of dust. And that dust, that's all the clutter from the outside world, what society tells you to be, what your family expects, what your friends think. You can't see your true reflection through all that gunk. So, step one is simple. You've got to wipe the dust away. So how do you actually do that? How do you clear the dust? Well, Shetty gives us a handy acronym, OEOs. It stands for the opinions, expectations, and obligations that are constantly being thrown at us from the outside. The goal is to start consciously filtering that noise out. You need to create some quiet, some space, so you can finally hear your own voice instead of just the loud chorus of everyone else's. Okay. So you've done the work, you've cleared away the noise, and now you have this space, a blank canvas, really. And that's where part 2 comes in. This is all about what you do with that space. It's time to intentionally grow your inner world, to really shape your mind, figure out what truly drives you, and start living with purpose. And this leads us to a really powerful comparison, the monkey mind versus the monk mind. We all know the monkey mind, right? It's that chattering voice in your head that just won't shut up. It swings from one thought to the next like a monkey swinging from branch to branch, reacting to every little thing. But the monk mind? That's a trained mind. It's focused. It's intentional. It doesn't get yanked around by fear or stress. It's the one in charge. So the big question is, how do we train that monkey mind? Well, luckily, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. Ancient texts give us this incredible analogy, the charioteer's dilemma. They picture the mind as a chariot being pulled by 5 wild, powerful horses. And this isn't just some cute story. It's a super practical tool for understanding what's really going on inside our own heads.
Okay, let's break this down because it's brilliant. The five horses, those are your five senses: sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. And they are always pulling you in a million different directions, chasing after the next shiny object. The reins that hold them, that's your mind. And the charioteer, the one holding the reins, that's your intellect, your wisdom. And sitting in the back, the passenger, that's your true self. The whole point is to get the charioteer, your intellect, in control, using the mind to guide the senses. Right now, for most of us, the horses are running the show.
So once we kind of get a handle on how our mind is structured, we can start to ask why. What's actually motivating our charioteer to go in a certain direction? Why do we want the things we want? Ancient Hindu philosophy suggests that all our actions really boil down to one of four core motivations. And you can almost think of these motivations as a ladder. At the bottom, we've got fear. We're just trying to be safe and secure. Then there's desire, where we're chasing personal success and gratification. A step up from that is duty, doing things because we feel we have to, because it's the right thing to do. But at the very top, the highest motivation, the one monks aim for, is love, acting out of a genuine, selfless desire to serve others and give back to the world. And this Jim Carrey quote just perfectly sums up the trap of that desire motivation. We're all told the same story, right? Get rich, get famous, get all the stuff, and then you'll be happy. But it's a total illusion. Shetty puts it this way: we're not actually chasing the thing, we're chasing the feeling we think the thing will give us. And the punchline is that external stuff almost never delivers the lasting joy we're looking for. This is exactly why living with intention is so crucial. Don't just get stuck on the what you want to accomplish. You've got to dig deeper and find your why. And a great way to do this is to just keep asking yourself why over and over. Why do I want that promotion? Well, for more money. Why do I want more money? Keep going until you hit the real root motivation. Is it fear? Is it desire? Or is there something deeper, a higher purpose driving you? Knowing your why changes everything. And when you do all this work, you let go of the noise, you start growing your inner world, something amazing happens. Your focus naturally starts to shift outward. And that brings us to the final and maybe most important part of the practice: giving back to the world. This is where we discover that real, lasting joy isn't found in what you get, but in what you give. Now, Shetty calls gratitude the world's most powerful drug, and he's not wrong. The science is actually there to back it up. When you genuinely feel grateful, your brain releases dopamine, that feel-good chemical. This kicks off what's called a virtuous cycle. The more you practice gratitude, the better your brain gets at spotting more things to be grateful for. You're literally rewiring your brain to look for the good. There's this fantastic little story in the book that really shows the power of expanding your world. So there's a young man who's just overwhelmed by the pain in his life. A wise old woman tells him, take a handful of salt, and this salt represents all his pain, and put it in the small glass of water. He does, and she tells him to drink it. He takes a sip, and it's just unbearably bitter. Then she takes him to a huge, clear lake. She says, now put the exact same handful of salt into this lake. He does. Now take a drink from the lake. He drinks the water, and it's cool, refreshing, and he can't taste the salts at all. Now think about that. The amount of salt, the amount of pain, was exactly the same. The only thing that changed was the size of the container. And that's the big lesson. The salt is the pain of life. It's always going to be there, in one form or another. The key is don't be the glass. Become the lake. When you're a small glass, even a little pain makes everything bitter. But when you expand your world, through service, through gratitude, through connection, your own problems just don't taste as salty anymore. They're diluted in something much, much bigger. So, as we start to bring this all together, there's one really important thing to remember. Thinking like a monk isn't some destination you just arrive at one day. It's not about achieving perfection. It's a practice. It's a journey. It's about showing up, being self-aware, making little course corrections along the way. The goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is just progress. And that brings us to one last really big question to leave you with. See, monks think in the long term. They don't measure their lives by the stuff they collect, but by the impact they have, by the service they provide. So the question for you is, how will you be remembered? What's the legacy you want to leave behind? And I want to leave you with one final story from the book that I just love. A young novice monk goes to his teacher and says, "My meditation is awful today. I can't focus at all." The teacher just smiles and says, "It will pass."
A few weeks later, the same novice comes back, beaming. My meditation was beautiful today, so peaceful. And the teacher gives him the exact same reply. It will pass. And that's the whole thing, isn't it? Life is just a series of moments, good and bad. They all pass. The real goal isn't to lock yourself into some permanent state of happiness, but to simply be present for the whole journey, finding your peace and purpose along the way.